connection that I see is both are global. You get a lot of foreign investors coming in all across the globe. Sharpen your pencil and make your way out. Tax policies in US is pretty complex. Unlike Dubai, when you come up, it becomes completely hassle-free.
A safer environment, which is it?
Policy regulatory changes when it comes, it directly, indirectly impacts the investments. They just see things and they go ballooning. And they just want to have something here, either as a rental or as to buy here.
So what about mortgage rules here and in USA?
So this is the power of leverage that I think every human should try to use. The lowest rental yield that I am getting in one of my properties is
One big question in real estate market today, Dubai or USA, which is offer better returns, which is offer better capital gains, which is offer safer environment for investors. To break it down, we have our investor, Mr. Shakir. He invested in USA and Dubai.
Hi, I'm Shakir. I've been into the investments for real estate for almost 1.5 decades, been around 17 years, and been very active with Dubai market and also with US markets. So I would like to give you some insight about the real estate in both the markets that we can look at. See, both the countries or the cities are very well developed with best of the infrastructure and very good future planning. And the government plannings are way too good in the US and also in Dubai, because both the cities, there is one simple connection that I see is both are global. You get a lot of foreign investors coming in all across the globe. But if you look at the real estate market in USA compared to Dubai, for the last 1 decade, I've seen a drastic change in Dubai's market. Unlike in USA, the returns that we talk about in the investment, that's the very important factor for any investor. Investor only eyes on where the gain lies. So for us, we keep our emotion aside, but we work and focus on where we can get the best returns. So in real estate, if you look at the capital appreciation in Dubai, it's been roughly around 12 to 15% year on year. Unlike USA, the capital appreciation is roughly around 4.5 to 6% a capital appreciation. And in terms of rental yield, like US is a very big country, we have East Coast, also West Coast. So in East Coast, the best city that we compare would be the New York City, where the rental returns is ranging from 4.5% to 5%. And if we go in the West Coast, it's roughly around 5 to 6%, which is, say, a best city we can compare is Los Angeles. But unlike Dubai, it has a rental yield of straight 7 to 10%, be it residential or commercial, it stays standard.
And what about tax environment?
The tax environment, that's, I think, the major role player and the key changer for the Dubai's market, because in USA, when we look at the capital gain, when you buy a property and when you sell, that is where you make your money. Because if I buy something, I invest, I'm like minus on day one in terms of my investment. Say I invest 1 million. So I lost 1 million today. The money is with the real estate, but it's no good to me unless I sell it. Say I sell it for 1.5 million. So I make that 500,000 as my profit. But in US market, the capital gain that we talk about is roughly around 30% for the foreign investors. Moreover, there are multiple complex tax system in USA, where we see the property tax coming in. Then there is an initial investment taxes which gets levied on, which is roughly around 2.5 to 3%. Moreover, we also need to invest or say spend. It's like an expenses, which is the lawyer fees and also the professional tax consultant, because the tax policies in US is pretty complex. Unlike Dubai, when you come up, it becomes completely hassle-free. You don't need a lawyer. You don't need a professional tax consultant. There is no capital gain tax. There is no rental income tax. Everything becomes zero. You just invest, and government is so well streamlined. The government itself takes care of the entire by default contract agreement that is from the government, which is the DLD. So it's completely taken care of. There is barely any kind of expenses that you occurred from your pocket. So the money that you spend is what you save also adds on to your investments.
And if we spoke about a safer environment, Which is it?
See, both the countries, the cities offer you the safe environment. Dubai is a very stable country, very safe. Government is very stable. Similarly, in New York, if we compare in US, it's very stable for the foreign investors. Market is really good there as well. But the only slight difference I find is the government stability or the policy changes. Like Dubai has a policy, it goes for long. They don't change in between every 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years. Unlike if we say in last 1 decade, in USA, there has been 3 times government has been changed every 4 years. There has been a new policy changes. So the policy regulatory changes when it comes, it directly, indirectly impacts the investments. Under any circumstances that you say if the policy changes, you have to change your dynamics and your strategy of your investments. So basically, when you invest, you cannot just sit back, relax, okay, I'm making good money. It's a challenge. But when there's a policy, there's no changes. You sit back, relax, and you're minting your money. Moreover, the demands that we see in current last post-COVID, the demand in Dubai has skyrocketed. People are finding all across the globe to come here, be here. You have nationality of 191 nationals across in the country, and it's driven huge by a very high demand. People who come to this country and travel, they just see things and they go ballooning, and they just want to have something here, either as a rental or as to buy here. I think that's one of the very key reasons why Dubai is developing and has shown a very high growth.
So now I know a lot of investors, they don't want to invest the whole amount of the property. So what about mortgage rules here and in USA?
Well, I think in today's world, in the world of investment that we talk about, where you have returns of around 15, 18% of capital appreciation, or maybe more than 10% of capital appreciation, and a rental yield, which is like varies from country to country, I would strongly suggest people can also go for the mortgage investment. Like you can take a mortgage on your asset, where you end up paying 20% from your own pockets, and 80% you can take as a mortgage. But if we compare the mortgage rates in both the countries, see, Dubai offers you 3.5% to 4%. In between, it varies as a mortgage, which is you can take up to the period of 25 years. Unlike in US, currently the current market mortgage rate is 6.33% for 30 years of your mortgages. Unlike if you look at a decade flashback, say in 2016 or say 14, 15, in that period, the mortgage rate in US was itself 3.5% to 4%. So the mortgage has gone high. So by default, maybe due to inflation and some other variable factors, or maybe the demand, so the mortgage is also shot up. So unlike Dubai, which is currently good 12 years before what US were, it's on the same rate here. So this is a good opportunity to seize it. And I think mortgage would be an easy opportunity. And the banking here are very, very clean and precise. And they're very, very fast and hassle-free.
So
If your paperwork are good, you're good to go.
So if you have 500,000 US dollar, do you prefer to buy a property with this amount or to go for mortgage?
Well, if you ask me, I was always like to go for a higher value assets.
Great.
Because the more higher value, the more better returns. So for me, I would suggest with this value, they can definitely go for assets across UAE. In fact, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, anywhere across. But with this, I would suggest that you can merge in with the mortgage and try to go with little higher value, because the down payment range is around 20% and 4% is your DLD that you pay. So that is roughly around 24%. So imagine you invest 25% from your self-equity, followed by your mortgages are taken care of. And if you go for a ready property, the best advantage, I will tell you, this will surprise you. The rental returns on an average that I've seen in Dubai is around 8%. Your mortgage is less than 4%. So even if you buy something and the rent is coming, you pay your mortgages, again, you save extra money in your own pocket, where you don't end up paying on taxes or any other capital gain as such. So this is the power of leverage that I think every human should try to encash on.
True.
Yes.
Great. Thank
Absolutely. And
you. One final question. Which investment is easier for you to keep on going successful, earning more profit? Dubai or USA?
see, like I said before, and there's a great American saying, like friends in Hollywood say, sharpen your pencil, and make your way out. So, in terms of investments or as an investor, you have to be extremely good and sharp where your money lies and what the money makes. Any layman can also say, if you end up paying taxes out of your income and you make income and pay no taxes, obviously the weight comes to where you don't pay up taxes. Because what you earn from your earning, you end up paying 20-30% as the taxes, which you directly save, is definitely a good option. So Dubai, that is one of the main reasons why it has skyrocketed pretty good. And if we say, see, I've been investing in Dubai market, I have multiple properties here. The lowest rental yield that I am getting in one of my properties is around 7%, 7.3% to be precise. So that's net. And whatever I'm earning, I'm paying 0 rupees or dollars or dirhams as a tax.
Tax is good for having a good lifestyle, okay, life standard. But in Dubai, it's an amazing thing, zero tax with amazing life standards. That's why we all love Dubai.
Absolutely. But just to add on, any country to run, it does need money. But Dubai has a very stable government, as we said. But yeah, in terms of taxes, if there is no taxes, there are certain kind of charges, okay, which we all end up paying. Say, for example, when you register a property, you end up paying 4% as DLD, which is standard. And that is one time. But there is no property tax, there is no capital gain. So those benefits does lies with the investors. Apart from that, there is a very minuscule amount of charges that you pay to the trustee office for registration, which is, I think, 4,200 dirhams. That's it.
Remember, it's only paperless work, and it
paperless.
takes only 2 days to register your unit in Dubai Land Board.
So I'll share you one experience of mine. Like, I was registering a property in New York, which took me around the paperwork, along with the lawyer, along with the tax consultant, making policies, changes. It took me 1 week just to create the paperwork so that it be in my favor or whatsoever.
And you have to be there.
Yes,
Right.
you have to be there. You sit on the sittings multiple times. So you end up investing your money. Moreover, you end up spending your time as well. So two things lies with it. Unlike in Dubai, I'll share you my last experience. They called me in the office. I went to the trustee office. I sat there. I was having a coffee. They called me. They take my fingerprint, and they just asked me to wait for some time. I had another coffee. By the time I'm done, they gave me the title deed of my documents. This was my best experience ever in anywhere across the globe that we talk about. The easiest way and the cleanest way and the safest way. You don't have to worry on the paperwork, or you don't end up paying on the lawyer fees. You save up on that. The tax consultants, all eradicated. Not I'm that against the profession of anybody, but then as an investor, it is saving my pockets. So
You said this all. Now all our investors, now they can see us, they know the difference. Why Dubai? Why we love Dubai? Why we are selling Dubai? See you in the next episode.